Shakespeare wasn't buried as the received wisdom has always had it in a family vault. Instead, he's in a shallow grave. And something very peculiar has happened at the head end of the shallow grave because there's a major repair there. Now, why would a major repair cutting right across the head of Shakespeare's shallow grave have been necessary?
And there it ties in with something that had been written and thought was fiction, which is that he was the victim of grave robbers.
That's right. This was a story that was published in 1879, referring to events that allegedly took place in 1794, when trophy hunters, we might call them, a local surgeon, after a bounty of 300 guineas that a literary connoisseur had offered to anyone who could bring him Shakespeare's skull, broke into the church and took the skull. That's how the story goes, and it's always been dismissed as fiction. But it's got lots of circumstantial detail, that story, including the suggestion that it was only 3 feet down that Shakespeare's skull was found. And our survey has now proved that he does in fact lie 3 feet down in a shallow grave.
OK, so Shakespeare's skull is we don't know where.
It could be. That's the next big question.
So what, the hunt goes on for whomever down the centuries was possibly handed a skull?
Well, there was...
Possibly read Hamlet to it.
Exactly. There are so many possibilities. But there was a second part to the story that suggested that the skull had eventually been dumped, if you like, in the crypt of a church 15 miles away in Worcestershire, where indeed, in a crypt that's usually kept sealed, there has been a rogue skull that people have said was Shakespeare's. We got to go and have a look at it, scan it, 3D analysis, got a top forensic anthropologist to have a look at it. And her analysis is that it belongs to a woman who died in her 70s.